Thanks, John, and welcome back to our Sunday English language gathering. Before we start, please invite your tens and turn your cameras on so we may see your smiling faces. So you're aware this meeting is going to be translated, so please be sure to choose English. Now, with our opening intention, John?
Thanks, Richard. Good morning, friends. Baal HaSalam, a speech of the completion of the Zohar. It says here that our sages said, let all your actions be for the sake of the Creator, that is, Defkut with the Creator. Do not do anything that does not yield this goal of Defkut. This means that all your actions should be to bestow and to benefit your fellow person. At that time, you will achieve equivalence of form with the Creator, as all his actions are to bestow and benefit others. So all your actions will be only to bestow and benefit others. This is complete Devkut. Line, friends.
Thanks, John. We have very special guests today from our B'nai Baruch leadership here to answer questions. But before they do, perhaps they will talk a little bit about their new roles and how they make decisions. So get your questions ready. And now let's give a warm welcome to Mikhail Sanilevich and Avuhy Sofer. Gentlemen.
Hello, everyone. We are really happy to see you. Yes, we've been meeting regularly, thanks to the organizers who make sure that once every 6 months we get to meet. Of course, we'll be happy if there's a need, we can come more. We know most of you. We've been on this path for many years together. And of course, we are here to answer all the questions. Our organization is going through many changes. Also in the building, there are many changes. And when you come to the Congress, you won't recognize the building. We're truly, at the moment, it looks like a construction site. And also the Terminal of Thoughts as a whole, it's like an intro lecture, but in a experiential way, we're building this where every room, a person is impressed, is moved. All kinds of technology will operate on a person to make them feel the excitement. And they'll go through this journey and this is how we're hoping to also increase the number of participants in our campuses. And of course, we're going to do such a journey also on the virtual level. We will film it and build a site that I hope that with special 3D glasses or something like that, you'll be able to feel that you're here. Besides that, on the third floor here, we are building a visitor center. And we want to share with all our students about the activity of our organization. This visitor center will open towards the end of the year. Probably when you come to the Congress in February, it'll be ready. And we're devoting this towards 30 years from the beginning of our non-for-profit organization. We did it in 1997. So 2027, we want to build a visitor center and to share about all the activities that we've done, meaning from the publications of books, newspapers, TV, the Terminal of Thoughts, which is this experiential journey we're talking about. And therefore, we divided about 200 square meters so that all the students will be able to enjoy and learn from our activity. And many other changes that you will see coming up when we meet. Besides that, also our society, our group, are going through many changes toward the Congress, and you have probably many questions. And altogether, any question you want, we're here for you, so please, let's start.
Friends, before we ask questions, I think we need to clearly explain everyone how to pick English for translation. It looks like not all the friends, are able to do that. So yeah, there is. You need to go on this the bottom of the screen, three dots, pick more, then interpretation over there, and then pick, the language, English. Thank you.
Questions?
Okay, can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
hear me? Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I have a question that is recurring in our 10, and I've seen other 10s. I will paste it in the chat. How can we support the friends, and how can we support each other? The transition to the head of the 10 structure in a way that helps the friends overcome inner resistance, not by forcing the change externally, but by understanding its spiritual purpose and using it to strengthen our common work, responsibility, and connection in the 10. Thank you, friends.
I'll start and if you can continue. Look, first of all, it's a really new thing. It's relatively a new thing. We've been discussing this with Rav for 2-3 months. Of course, he talked about this also almost 10 years ago, but we somewhat didn't notice. So, first of all, Rav himself said that when we asked him whether everyone should do this, he said, let them try, but if they don't have a deficiency for it. Meaning we understand that we don't understand why we need this. So we kind of want to do it seemingly above reason, because the teacher recommended to do so. We're not obligating anyone. A 10 that decides at the moment not to do this, or maybe wait till after the Congress, we understand. You need to understand, we're 800 10s. There are 10s that have been veteran, timers. There's new 10s. There's all kinds. Therefore, certainly, only what the 10 decides is that what we do. Secondly, we're doing it as an exercise. We're researchers. We study this topic. So one of the recommendations of our teacher is to study and see what this thing is. Will it be later once a week, once a day? We need to replace the 10 of the head of the 10, or once a month? We don't know. We want to go through it so each experiences it, and we will see. We didn't see any danger in this. In the end of it, the days, whoever is registered in the 10 as a member of the 10 can be the head. That's why we didn't say, why didn't we say choose? Because we were telling you to choose. Each would start criterias, and then you'd start arguing about criterias, who can be and who can't. That's why we said, even a person who comes once a month can do so, and it will benefit him as well. But again, the whole 10 needs to agree about this. Also in Bnei Baruch, there are many 10s that don't do this in Israel. But we didn't want to distinguish between, only in Petach Tikva we're doing what we're not doing. Also in Petach Tikva, there are 10s that are not ready for it. That's why maybe more specifically say what problems there are here that you see, because in the end of it, the head of the 10, who builds the 10? The head of the 10? It's the 10 itself. The head of the 10, let's say I last week was the head of the 10. Altogether, my role was to constantly uplift the spirits of the 10, to raise the importance of the goal. I did a meal, I thought about it, I tried in all kinds of ways, unique ways to awaken their attention to the Creator. And that's it. That's the role. At the moment, that's where you can sum it up. And specifically those that won't be as the head, their role is to support and to give me forces and to nullify, meaning there's a mutuality to this exercise. That's why before we even advertised this, we tried this on our 10 and also a few other 10s in Petach Tikva. We saw it only brings good results. That's why we recommended it before the Congress for everyone.
John,
the resistance to what? What precisely is the resistance towards?
Well, I've seen that there's a confusion. Friends think that the head of the ten might create first a lot of pressure on the friend that is head of the ten. It will increase his ego, perhaps, or among the ten, other friends will see the friend as higher, as a leader that has to be obeyed. So there's this confusion between this and the spiritual meaning of the head of the ten. That is, at the end, is on the contrary, is not a leader in the physical sense, is a person who lowers himself to the friends in the ten and pushes the spirit up all the time. So there's this confusion between the physical and the spiritual meaning. Thank you.
Look, in the clip that we saw from 2018, Rav spoke about the head of the ten being like the one who's in charge of order, and he's the great priest, meaning on one hand, he organizes all the processes. For example, he decides what you'll read in the afternoon, what order the friends will talk, what the workshop will be about, what subjects the 10 meeting will engage in, or all kinds of things like that. By the way, he enters into the role, the content. It depends on him. He can be very active and he can be less active. He can be very involved in things and he can be less. He can guide the friends what to do and he can give a certain freedom. It's very varied and dependent on who it is. That's one. Secondly, it's a very special responsibility because suddenly a friend feels responsible for the whole 10. Now, you could say justly that every friend should feel constantly responsible for the whole 10. But what to do? It's hard for us to be 24 hours a day in that strain. It doesn't really happen. I saw in our 10, I'll share with you, we just started the exercise. I'm not trying to say that we have great experience, but one of the things that I saw is that suddenly the head of the 10, and we won't get into the details of who it is, suddenly he comes on time. He wouldn't come on time before that. Suddenly he always knows where we're reading. And before that, he never found where the reading point was. He would ask everyone. Suddenly he knows in advance what will be. He brings the books, etc. So I thought to myself, how wonderful. I wish we all were all the time heads of the 10 because it would probably obligate us to be more serious. So there are all kinds of ramifications that we can just experience them and go through them. Otherwise, it's theoretical. We're talking about. In addition, suddenly there's a friend that's equal to us. After all, we always talk that everyone's equal in the 10. And he decides. Why? Not because he's more veteran or wise or he knows, but because we appointed him. Now I might be smarter, I understand more, I'm stronger, and for sure more talented, but now I need to lower myself somewhat and to annul before him. This is an opportunity for me as well. There's an exercise in annulment. Look how many discernments from a relatively simple thing. Hence, there's no need to be worried here. First of all, on purpose, we defined it like as in kind of an exercise, so no one gets into pressure here. We're doing an exercise. And once a week, we're replacing each other. Yes, we're trying. We're going to do trial and error. We learn together. All kinds of tens in the world are doing it. This week we shared. In the continuation, we'll do more sharing and we'll have more discernments. We'll be wiser. We'll understand what fits and what not. We also need to understand not all tens are identical. There's a characteristic to a 10. There's a certain spirit in each 10. There's a certain atmosphere in tens. Also, within the 10, not all the friends are the same. So there are many, many things here, many flavors to it, many diverse colors. Now, if your 10 feels that it's not correct for it at the moment, like everything, no, there's no coercion in spirituality. We're really recommending, and we also are giving an example. We're doing it ourselves. We're not recommending to someone and not doing it. With time, you'll decide yes or no. If there are some kind of doubts, maybe consult the head of the community. This is a way to dissipate these worries because there are no real worries here. that you're choosing now that someone's going to control the system and take over. No, the head of the 10 is the servant of the 10. He serves the 10. That's his role, to serve the friends. Now, all of us, I agree, we all need to serve the friends. But now it's compelling him to do so. Why? Because Maria was told that now she's the head of the 10, and he has no choice. Like it, not like it. She feels like it. She doesn't feel like it. She wants it. She's in the mood or not. It's a role. It obligates, just like a mother. No one asks you if you want to be a mother. You have to take care of your children, period. I'm going to add another thing. Look, I'll say it in the most direct way there is. I hear also not just from you, but there's this worry that a friend will do something, will take over, take control. I think it's just my personal ego that's afraid. It's such mistrust. Each should check himself. Do you have such mistrust towards a friend? We're supposed to love one another, at least to try. We are supposed to be guarantors in our voot with one another. And I can't for 1 week trust a friend because I think he's going to take control and give me commands. Or what could he possibly give? What, read this article or another? What are we dealing with? It's like we're here, I don't know what. So you should understand. But these are discernments. This is good. It's good that we have this fear. It just shows how unready I am, how far I am from trusting the friends. I need to trust him that he will, how did Rav say? That he's holding my oxygen line to spirituality. And here I don't trust him that he's going to what? Read a few excerpts for me. And for a week. We're not talking about now for a year. For a week. Later, you can cancel all his decrees. What could possibly be there? But it's clear that there is such fear. It's a healthy fear. But let's take it in proportion, this whole thing. Thank you, Tammy from W.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Our question in our 10 is we have a lot of members that work very long hours, 12 to 14 hours a day. So our question is, does every friend need to take a turn as the head, or can those people that work these hours that don't really have time, can they opt out and only the ones that are available take a turn? Is that okay or no?
I'll give you an example. We have a friend in the 10 who's a doctor. He's a family doctor. He works more than 12 hours a day. And it's like this work that is just, you have sick people in front of you and you can't send a WhatsApp, you can't do anything. From time to time, he has a break for a few minutes. So we decided if a friend agrees, you should ask him. If he agrees, wonderful. We're giving it to him. That's first of all. If he doesn't agree, if he says, guys, I have no time, then that friend that has no time and works so hard as a doctor. By the way, he did find time and he restricted little things here and there of his meetings and at expensive work. But we all felt the extra effort he made. And also note, Tammy, usually we're 8, 10 people in a 10. So you're talking about a week and every 2, 3 months. Meaning we're not talking about every day. We're talking once in a period of time. A person can try to aim and try to do it. Let's say do it in July because I can't right now. Meanwhile, other friends who can take the job, and maybe I have an overload at work or something like that. Meaning, altogether, put things into proportion, but do what's good for you. Don't coerce anyone. Don't coerce anyone in the 10 for everything. We're not allowed to pressure or coerce friends in the 10. We need to encourage, to explain, to talk about, to define, but not to compel people to do things that they refuse to do. Thank you. Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, dear friends. Our 10 is virtual, and I guess the bottom line question is how can we best serve the friends in a virtual environment? Because a lot of the critique that my 10 has, they used to be physical. And a lot of the advices that we hear in discussions and in the morning lesson, we feel like it would be easier to implement in a physical environment. We don't know how to work in the same way virtually. So how could we serve the friends? How can we strengthen the connection between us because we feel that the virtual environment is limiting us? So thank you.
Look, the reality in North America dictates certain conditions as far as times and hours, work conditions, and conditions that have to do with distances. You live in a place that is very broad and distant. People are spread over different states, different continents, etc. That's the reality. The Creator arranged the reality in such a way. Therefore, we need to find a way, as much as we're capable, to search for creative ways to use those ideas that are being talked about also in a physical format, in a virtual format. It is clear that maybe it's not perfect. We do encourage physical meetings when it's possible, at the dose that is possible, at the proportion and frequency that's possible. The TENS Congress is an opportunity for this. We sat and thought, and we really wanted to bring almost every friend in the world to meet with his friends in the TEN, no matter where they live or in what way. So not everyone will succeed to meet because of these great distances, but there will be quite a few TENs that for the first time, at least some of them will meet. Or friends will make a meaningful effort and will travel and meet. So therefore, we don't have some magical solution how to take all the connection ideas from physical to virtual formats. But you who are experienced, together with the head of your community and the team and the friends that are here, you need to think how to translate these ideas that were maybe in a physical format or easier for implementation into a virtual format. And specifically in your Florida TEN, I saw that you meet quite a lot, meaning a good part of the friends do meet. So I understand that maybe for you it's more distant, but we need to think how we arrange our reality that way. We have to think of how we arrange our reality so we will be able to meet with friends at least once in 3 months, a certain a quarter, half a year. Uh, this is very important, and it will give you forces and whatnot. We do virtually to the best of our ability. I also wanted to ask about that. We used to have physical groups in the United States, and after COVID, you understand, Rav used to demand this and push for the physical meeting. There is no such push at the moment. The question is, will there be a push from the management towards establishing physical groups in the United States? Uh, Look, it's not a simple matter because, as you remember, everyone were physical once, and only necessarily people were, inevitably, some people were virtual, and that's how we built the groups around these centers. After COVID, this has changed. There's no doubt that we are not going to return to what was, but let's say, look, to study every day, we see that individuals in the world will be able to meet and study together every day, like here in Petah Tikva. Also, what's Petah Tikva? It's people who came, each of us came, as you know, from every city in the country and in the world also. It's a collection of people. None of us ever lived in Petah Tikva. Is it worthwhile to do such a thing in other places? We see that even if we say that it's worthwhile, it's not enabled. And we also need to understand that people actually came to be next to the Rav, and now it's all changing. Today, there is no such thing. There are several contemplations here. On one hand, there's no doubt that the TEN needs several times a year to meet physically, and therefore there's no commandment of building TENs in such a way that one that lives in Canada and the other lives in London. And for the future, we want to begin with to build TENs in such a way that they will be regionally close, at least in such a distance that they can meet once a month, once a quarter, maybe at least biannually. It would be best if they could do it once a week. We will try. But at the moment, the number of people that are in our study programs in KABU does not enable us to build a TEN that is truly, let's say, all in New York, let's say. So that's one thing. So we thought it could be that the new friends we may join to existing tens. Let's say if there's 3, 4, 5 tens in New York, then it could be that there's a new friend who's studying in KU. He graduates and he lives in New York. Does he need to be in his 10 that he studied with? Yes, that he grew up with. And everyone is there from India and from where not, from all kinds of countries. Even some from the East Coast and some from the West Coast. Yes, or from New York. Now here, there's also certainly it's worthwhile, it's desirable that the community leaders should decide and check whether the 10 in New York is ready to absorb such a friend. We don't get involved. The 10 is like a living body. Rav never got involved with that, meaning in general, logically, it would be best for that friend to join. On the other hand, we have to see. He could be already in a 10. And if you take from that 10, who will they remain with? That's one. On the other hand, we have to see that the friends in New York agree to receive a new friend. And they may be studying for 25 years and he's studying for 6 months. So there's huge, meaningful gaps. And we have such experiences in Petah Tikva where new students do join veteran students. It's not terrible. Maybe a broader picture, Albert. In the whole world, we separated new students from veteran students, just not just in America. Then what happened? Gradually, some of the groups weakened, and also people got older. Also, some moved on, and some of the tents got smaller. On the other hand, the new tents were only of new friends, but there was very small force in them. Why? Because they always dealt with fundamental basic things like framework and what to do and how, and so on and so forth. And then what turned out from this, we had one line of very veteran friends, one line in the whole world. It's not connected just to English speakers. It's in Russian, it's in Hebrew, it's in Israel, it's in the world, it's everywhere in Europe. One line of new students, one line of veteran students, and these two lines are not meeting. And then there's no new blood in the groups on one hand. There's no study from example within new students on the other hand, which has great many examples. All the examples are right here before our eyes, but they don't meet them because they're not with them in the 10. And then there's this separation that's created. There's one system of beginner tens, there's another system of advanced tens, and those two things don't meet with one another. So it's like a river that water doesn't flow through. Water is that still stand, and it's not good. And we came to a conclusion that we need to change this process delicately, with smarts, gently, not in a crude way to come and make extreme actions. But the trend is to try to combine and intermingle in a certain way. We made a few experiences in Israel and in Petah Tikva. So it's not a disaster. There are tens in Petah Tikva. We started in the last few years where there are friends, and that the friends that are in the 10 start to study even before the friend that's with them in the 10 was born. Just we understand the framework here. And disaster didn't take place. It was all fine. It's all good. And this leads to bringing new spirits and new experience. Of course, it's only in places where it fits and people understand, have a sensitivity, are able to absorb new friends and have the patience. It's not suitable for everyone. So we have to think how we do this in a wise way. We trust Chaim, Asaf, and Zohar to find a way how to do this without coercion, in a sensitive way, because I'll tell you, it's very difficult for those new friends. There's also a gap there, as you know. People completed KU, they finished the program. They're the young group, and they need to join the veteran students. So there too, those who finished, there are people who really want to join our morning lessons, and there are those who are they're not planning. They could come once a week even. So there shouldn't be all of a sudden this great pressure being put. So there's a certain sensitivity that we need to develop. But yes, we are aspiring to try to return to structures where people are closer physically. Again, even if not in the same exact place, but at least in the area, in the region. There's no commandment that friends in the 10 will be 7 hours away from each other. See, Trump, why did he travel to China? He could have done Zoom with them. Rav gives these examples because there's nothing you can do. The moment you come there physically, you see the friend, you get him, you smell him, you understand. You understand these things. You have experience in these things. You can't just sit like this on Zoom and to study, yes. To study, it's okay. That's clear. But to connect, you must have that physical contact, at least to be impressed, and then for you to have it in your memory. I wanted to ask, I heard one of the discussions on the path where about the head of the 10. Who's the head of the 10? The head of the 10 is the management. We discussed this with Rav many times. We have many recorded discussions with him. We built this process with him for years, at least 5, 6, 7 years, how the organization will be when Rav won't be able to manage it. And we have come to the conclusion, there are all kinds of opinions, but we came to the conclusion, he chose the 6 people, that we will be as the head, not one person. He also said it's the trend of the world also, that there won't be one leader, there won't be one apex, certainly not in an organization like ours. And really, for the first time in history, usually understand that Rav would appoint like his son or his relative or some close student. In the past, it was like the wise student, which was good. But today, it's not the wise student or disciple or the son. It's truly a group of people, veteran friends, and also none of us is immune. Who knows what will be? But it's clear to us that there need to be 6, 7 people. That's the management. It could be that there too things will change, and maybe new people will come. But that's the direction. That's the general direction. And we can see, of course, we make decisions only unanimously. That was the condition. Each has a field of responsibility. Of course, in dissemination, I, as the CEO, I manage, and others, and we come to report. But in the society, every such exercise that we're doing, the head of the 10, Congress, anything that belongs to the spiritual development of the society, we do not put out any exercise, any announcement, if we don't all 6 of us agree together to it. Clara, please.
Hello, friends. Thank you. We already have 2 roles in the tents, the role of the Gabbai and the role of the Shatz. And I wanted to ask, in which way do the tasks of the head of the tent differ from these 2 roles? Thank you.
So I will share. First of all, it depends on the head of the 10. In some places, the head of the 10 could come and say, I will fulfill the role of the Gabbai and Shatz. In some of the places, the head of the 10 might guide the Gabbai and Shatz. I would say that you put an emphasis on this topic and that topic, about this part in the lesson. That the meeting, let's say I had a meeting now with my 10 at 5 p.m. So there's a Shatz and Gabbai in our 10. We didn't cancel those, but the head of the 10 led the meeting because he wanted to lead it the way he wanted to. And it's really fine. And we do this with joy. And there's other 10s that someone will come and say, no, we don't need the role of Gabbai and Shatz. I'm filling it. I'm the head of the 10. I'm filling it this week. Everything is fine. It's all part of the process. You're asking what adds? It depends on the head of the 10. It could be that the head of the 10 decided to give a mission today, a task today. It could be that he asked a certain friend to perform a certain action. And meaning he has authority in activating the 10. I don't want to say unlimited because it scares some of the friends, but he has responsibilities in what the 10 supports to do what he understands. So define it the way it's comfortable for you and give the head of the 10 freedom because it gives him responsibility as well. He's now responsible. He needs to think what's correct for the 10. This is a really beautiful thing. Suddenly there'll be some passive person. He'll become very active. And that's what we're expecting from him. We want him to do something. And what's good about this is that it's not necessarily the dominant person in the 10. It could be that it's a very quiet kind of person, very shy, and barely talks in the 10, and suddenly he's expressing himself. He has an opportunity and even an obligation. Besides that, I just want to say that if suddenly the entire 10 identifies that that head suddenly is doing something that extreme that we're not used to, or like every day he says, we need 2 hours before we go to sleep to read the excerpts, or to wake up, I don't know, 2 hours before the lesson to come, or all kinds of things like that. He doesn't change the orders of things, the framework. So immediately you have a head of community, you have Chaim, you have Asaf, you have Zohar. You can go, and they'll know what to help you with that. You don't, we're not like in North Korea somewhere. It's clear, yes? I saw there were questions in the chat too. Chaim, do you want to maybe answer those? Yes, we can. If there's no live questions, we can definitely ask those questions. Until when do we have here in this meeting?
We have
6:30 p.m.
time,
Israel time.
and we have time over if friends and you are okay, because there's nothing in their boot system.
Yeah, we could do it up to 45. So let's see. Nika, why don't you ask?
Yeah, thank you, friends. Well, it's a great exercise, head of the 10, and it clearly demands a lot of new learning and annulling and learning how to love each other in new ways. And I actually remember the time when Rav talked about it in 2018. I was like 1 year, first few weeks in the lessons. And I remember how I was puzzled because in the Kabyu framework, we were learning about the circle and so on. So I feel like I'm lacking skills and understanding of how to be ahead of the 10, how to, should we just improvise? Maybe there can be something more examples or teaching around that.
Look, we also just started this. We will be experienced after a few months, and we will talk between us. We'll write guidelines and instructions, and we'll move it as a method to the next students that have yet to do this. But we just started, and therefore there's no experience yet for friends. It's truly something new, because I understand what you're saying. We learned all the time what there's equality in the 10. What is there all of a sudden ahead? So Rav says we also need to learn. We don't get this yet, but he says that the head of the 10 and equality amongst the friends do not contradict with one another. We need to learn in what we are equal, because we're not exactly equal. In what are we equal? What equality is he talking about? And why the head of the 10 does not interfere with this equality. But why did he become a head? Because we appointed him. It's not that someone's jumping in the 10. It's very different. Please note, when we are talking about equality in the 10, we're talking about a friend not taking rule over the friends, and because of their ego or their desire to control things and natural qualities. Here, a person received the key. He received the role. We appointed this person. Just like a friend who's giving a lesson. It's not like he jumped up and started to give a lesson. We appointed the head of the 10 for a role. We together, the 10, chose him to be it by order, by some kind of we decided. But if you listen to the discussions that that Rob was talking about, he says we give him the power. By our very annulment, we're giving these powers to this person. I just want to talk about the improvising. There's a document that we prepared with a lot of materials about the head of the 10. It's also in the Congress site, and it was also translated to English. You can enter into this document. It's got many quotes and many explanations and points. And with that, if in your 10 you want to do it in a style of Nika, then do it. It's excellent. It's a blessed thing. But there's a document with materials. You don't need to start from zero. But is there accumulating experience? It'll happen. And like Michael said, we will accumulate more experience. It was sent to all the chats. You should have it. So you have it. I can give an example. If I, as the head of the 10, want to make some kind of decision, I don't come and say to them, guys, today it's like this and like that. I collect them, and together, I organize them in a circle, and together, according to the rules of the workshop, we make this decision. It's not that specifically because I'm the head of 10, even though I have the authority, I can decide, but I'm not interested in doing so. I want the decision to be received by all the friends. Again, the head of the 10 is a servant of the 10, and not, in parentheses, the ruler of the 10. He serves the 10. His role or her role is to serve the 10. Thank you. So we should look at questions. I thought maybe Asaf or someone, or John or someone that can choose the questions and tell us, choose and maybe ask. We have the friends here who are managing the event. You tell us if there's a question in there and read it out.
Yeah, I can choose one of the questions. It says over here, it's on another topic. I don't know if this is relevant to the management team, but one question is, our congresses cost more and more. We have to travel far away for each congress. Do you plan any changes in the future? This question is made by Zibitlana. Again, our congresses cost more and more. We have to travel far away for each congress. Do you have plans for any changes in the future? Zibitlana.
Look, I'll answer you. We said that we're not changing orders. We have 3 congresses a year, and we're doing one congress is the 10s Congress. The second is a regional congress, which you need to meet, let's say, in North America. And the third one is in Israel. We're not defining what's the most important congress. It used to be the most important was to come to Israel because Rav is here. And Rav is giving the lessons. Today, Rav's not giving the lessons. So it's less of a relevant factor here. But you need to decide. We can't do anything less because every Congress has its very essence. Look, it's all according to our ability. Of course, there's those kind of people that can. There's people that can't. So that's why we built the Arvut system. We've invested many resources, money, in order to be stable. This is an opportunity to say that a whole team right now has entered to find all the problems with the Arvut system. We are aware that we've had many challenges lately. The system, we need to understand, it was built from a small, tiny system, and it became this huge system containing thousands of people, languages, rooms, translations, operations. It's not like we planned for it to develop to something huge, and now it became something that a huge operation. So we've put forth resources for it. We took a programmer, the best programmer in Israel, really one of the best, with an expense that's not small. If someone wants to tell me to tell them, I can tell them. You can check how much a programmer costs. Probably in Israel and America, it's more or less the same. Just to create a stability in the system and to make it, because we understand that our future is nevertheless hybrid, both virtual and physical. But these are the 3 congresses. We're not planning on doing more congresses than these 3, and each should choose where to travel to. I'm not saying that the 10 congresses is less important or more important than the Congress in North America. I understand, I'm aware that it's not simple. Life is becoming not simple. I'll tell you that we have examples. We have friends who, during the year, they collect money in order to travel to a Congress on purpose. They make a savings account specifically for Congresses because it's important to them. There are those that not. So you can come once a year to a Congress, not 3 times. In short, I have nothing else to say here. Friends, I apologize. I have to go to a 10 meeting. I really, really love you. And Michael will continue. Thank you. So if already I was talking, I will continue about this Arvut system and the tuition. Look, you probably heard the explanation, and if you have questions, ask. We saw that for years, and you're together with us in this, you can see that for many years our organization existed through donations. And we see that maser and donation, not a very big amount of people are paying. Let's put it this way. I could say maybe 10% of us, about 10 to 15% of all the students. And we saw that to maintain our organization is impossible. We have a big building, we have activity, we have the Arvut system that costs millions a year to maintain. So you can check. It's like Zoom. How many programmers work there in Zoom? It's you can understand the situation. So it's a much more complex system than Zoom. And we saw that on one hand, there are many students who come and study a year, 2, 3, 5 years and leave. And then we thought to bring in this concept of the tuition in order to maintain all our system, not just maintenance like it was the $20 a month, but you enter there. There are many other expenses that our organization needs because that was just the $20 was just technology. And here we're seeing around there are many things like in every educational institute. There are many expenses from content to marketing to technology and logistics and administration. Therefore, we planned this shift for over 2 years. We made many studies on this. We did it differential so that if someone lives, let's say, in the United States, he'll pay more than because he's also making more, and in according to the cost of living. And whoever is living in Ukraine right now, just to for them, $60 in Ukraine or in the United States, there's a huge difference, as an example. So we also divided it regionally, and of course, we collected a lot of money of donations from friends, that is Help Haver, the Help a Friend, who are for those who can't manage this. And I'm very happy to say that we did the pilot of the tuition upon all the students in Israel, 3,000 students in Israel. And this month we're doing it already in North America and Europe and the rest of the regions. And this will give us, first of all, a feeling to that person to be a partner on this path. Now, whoever is already contributing, those who are already contributing, for them, there will be no change, basically. It will basically be no change, almost none. They'll actually receive a discount, a 55% discount. Why? Because they're already contributing their maser or donations, that is the equivalence of it. And those that not, then will have to pay in order to maintain our systems. We would be happy to be free on everything, but on the other hand, ideologically even, if someone were to come and give us a contribution, I don't think, like if we had a huge donation, I don't think we would take the money because it's important that each should pay and participate in their part in it and building this. With that, you build the Kli together with us. With that, whoever has difficulty, of course, we have Help a Friend. He just needs to appeal there, and certainly we will try to help in every way we can. Again, if we're starting this week, there will be all kinds of faults in the system, errors. There's a team that's there to help. If someone doesn't get along with things, you can turn to Chaim, to Asaf, to Zohar, and directly turn to the technical support there, and we will fix things because we're doing it for the first time. Those who are doing it is the programmers who really worked for 2 years on this possibility in order to locate the databases. Imagine 30,000 students. We need to know about each and every one, where they're paying, how they're paying, where they're donating, how much they donated, where they donated, and to take a system that knows how to take all that into account in order to give the discount to that specific friend, that if he's donating, he should receive the discount. And also to locate the place where they live. And all these programmers volunteered all their work, tens of hours every week, and I'm very happy that it's finally happening. So if there's questions on this topic, if Asaf, you want to add a few sentences, I'll answer.
Yeah, maybe before questions, I'll just add one more detail. So first of all, yes, as Michael just told us, this week, hopefully this is happening. We're supposed to roll this out for North America on May 21st. So this Thursday, it means that all of us, everyone who is part of the North American Kli, the system will start charging them according to the new tuition fee. And of course, if you're eligible for a discount, then you should also get the 55% discount. Now, as Michael mentioned, the system is, just starting. We are expecting to have some issues. It's never going to be 100% smooth, but we also trust that you understand that this is a transition period and there's a team that will help solve any problem at all, any issue, any complication. You're not sure about anything. Am I eligible for a discount? Am I not eligible? Did I get it? Did I not get it? Help at Kli.one. There's a team dedicated to answering and troubleshooting anything that's required. Just email help at Kli.one. And one more item we're asking from you to help us help you is the following. Some of you might have just one email that you're using, and that's the email that you use when you pay Maser, maybe digitally, when you donate, when you register with it to the Arvut system. That's great. Others might have several emails. Our team in Israel has worked a lot in order to allow for this. And if you have more than one email, we just need to know about it. If there's more than one email that you are using to, let's say, donate to BB and pay Maser and register to the Arvut system, if you're using more than one email, maybe even three different emails for these activities, just let us know about it. How? As I said before, send an email to help@Kli.one, say, hi, here's my name, and here are all the emails that I am using for BB. All right? And then we will already, behind the scenes, consolidate them and relate them all to you. That's important because we want to make sure that we are calculating your eligibility for a discount in the correct way. We want to make sure that we're not missing any donation that you're making. And we've built a very complex system. The team here in Israel worked on this, like Michael said, for more than 2 years now, to make sure that even if you donate one time in America and one time in Israel and one time in cash and other time in a credit card, we want to make sure that we're giving the best service to everyone. And if there's any issue, again, help@Kli.one will solve it. Please be patient with this. It is a transition period, but we're sure that after we roll this out, everything will just become clearer. We'll solve all the issues, and we'll all be partners in building our Kli, both financially and spiritually. So, l'chaim, friends.
I'll just take 30 seconds more and just say to all our friends who are paying subscriptions to Kabu, and that's how they're paying for the Arvut system, we will also take care of you this month as well. More questions? John?
Yeah, I have just one question from Nick. Nick asked, are we building a platform so anyone in the world can come and go as they please and participate with us once a week, once a month, once a year, holidays, etc.? Again, are we building a platform so anyone in the world can come and go as they please and participate with us once a week, once a month, once a year, holidays only, etc.? That's from Nick.
Yes, that's our approach. We, with 30 years of experience, understand that there's no coercion in spirituality. We see that there are people that study for 20 years and 25 years and leave after 25 years. And there are those who leave after a year or two. It's very difficult to say. There's no set of rules here. I also tried to discuss this with Rav and ask, how can it be that a person leaves 20 years later and how new people do come? You can't know. It's like we learn in the article with Balasulam. It's this the program of the creator is not clear. That's why we're all given the opportunity. But as you know, not quite a few, even veteran friends that after they either became passive or left altogether. but we want to open a system. We're always adding also an evening strip of broadcast that will be for you. It's like in the middle of the day. But we saw that this lesson at noon Israel time, for you, it's like what, 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, depending where you are. So we want to have lessons in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening, 3 times. And that's what we're longing for and are aspiring for. And like Rabash said, the store is open. And you have to understand also that we're going to solve also the translation problems, because where everyone will have some kind of special earbud and it'll translate, because the translation is, of course, an issue. But I think that in a year or two, AI will resolve all the translations and we'll be able to very clearly hear the instructors. But you're right. We do want to open it up for anyone and for each to choose as many times as they want to come, where to come. Of course, the central lesson is for us is at 3 a.m., the daily lesson. Like as Rav's request, he said not to change these orders. For you, it's 7, 8 p.m. And it's okay. You're used to it already. And we'll continue this way. More questions?
Yeah, William Baker put a question. How much, more or less, is the new fee compared with the Arvut system fee that we pay now? How much, more or less, is the new fee compared with the Arvut system fee that we pay right now? That's from William Baker in Florida.
Look, now we pay $20. $20 was already when we started in 2020 or so. For 5 years, we haven't changed the price, $20. And the reason was that we built the system. For 2 years, we were building a system to be able to do it differentially. The $20 was only for the Arvut system in order to maintain it, the technology. Now, when we made the calculation, now we see that this technology is not in the air. This technology is based on this building. We have a building with 600,000, a big size. And you see, you've been here. We've had a big quantity of people came from North America. The Congress costs 200 shekel. You understand that to do once a year a Congress, and for you to pay 200 shekel, do you know how much we paid in the exhibition gardens? You don't remember, Bill. In the exhibition gardens, you'd pay in one day $300, and in 3 days you'd pay $1,000. And here you paid 200 shekels. What is it? $60. So for once a year, we have to maintain this big building, the big hall, so that people will come here, and we will be able to do that. Someone has to maintain this. Besides the fact that there's expenses that we're holding translators, lecturers. Most of them are volunteering, but most of our activity is still volunteer. But the technical team, meaning whoever wants to see and take the time for it, the calculation that we did was we saw that a person that studies here in Israel needs to pay 180 shekels. As a result of that, we're kind of living in Israel, comparing Israel to living in America. You agree that the cost of living, or I think it's probably more expensive to live in Israel, but here people are paying 180 shekel, and it's really not a lot of money. Yeah, you understand that. So that's why we went that in North America, whoever donates or contributes will not pay the $60 or whatever the 80 shekels, 180 shekels is. He's paying 55% less. So it turns out to be around $30 a month. And those who don't donate or pay maseh, then that will be their tuition. They'll pay $60 or 180 shekels a month, no more than that. With this money, we'll be able to maintain our building, the technology, the team that serves the building and the organization, and whoever wants to know the rest of the details, I of course can sit and I'll be glad to share. I just know that it doesn't interest most of the people. When you go to the university and they say to you that to get a degree, I don't know how much does it cost there, $20,000-$30,000 a year, I think. Then they don't detail there what exactly you're paying, which cleaner you're paying for, the professor, or to rent the building. But I do want, and whoever wants to, I can gladly share every penny where it goes, because it's the friend's money, and that's why I'm interested in this. I do this with joy. Did I answer, Bill? Okay.
You did answer, sort of, but there's a lot more that needs to be expressed, and we don't have time in this meeting to express all that needs to be expressed. There is a lot more, but that's okay. We'll send me. I got to find a way to get your email, and I'll send you my questions straight up. You know me. I'll shoot straight from the hip.
Write me, of course, I'll be happy about anything. Write and bring it through Asaf Chaim Zor, and I'll be no problem. Besides that, there's help a friend, and therefore, if you feel like $60 is way too much for them, and it could be that, by the way, that there's someone who lives in Africa, and maybe he's making so much that, or Ukraine and Poland, for them, it's nothing. And it could be that today that those who live in the United States, and although a developed country, but maybe $60 is too much, is a lot. That's okay. They're our friends. That's why we have this fund called the Help a Friend, and we'll try to help. We have 50, 60%, 70%, according to the what's needed here. Please. You tell me when to finish, because I have time. I cleared my time.
There was just one more question for Mushi. Thank you very much for your time. What is expected from us in the spiritual work with the 10 now? And how can we avoid falling into the habit and routine in the work in the 10? And build a living deficiency through the management team as head of the group in Bnei Baruch, while keeping Rab Lyman's energy and spirit present through the clips and through the archive. Thank you.
Look, I also asked Rav a lot of times. Luckily, I am in his 10 and I meet with him daily, and we discuss his health is okay. He's not always in a state of health where he can answer, certainly not when it comes to organizational things, but we of course consult with him certain things. The direction is with the head of the 10 is a very clear line that he said that you will feel. He said you don't feel it yet for the time being, but you will feel that the head of the 10 is something that it's like in a body. You'll feel like you're missing a component, in a central component in your body. And this is important. He constantly says that our development is just in the 10s, and we just need to come closer more and more. And this exercise with the head of the 10 just shows to us, you didn't do it yet, but when you start to do, it just shows us how, to what extent we are still distant, still far. But the fact that you feel that we're far, that's already advancement. But all in all, we are very dependent. We're very close, the way he's guiding us, to spiritual attainment, one way, to a certain extent. But there will be no other direction. All the direction is just inwards in the 10. Meaning, on one hand, we're doing dissemination as much as possible, as much as we can, according to our qualifications. Our dissemination organization has become much more kind of professional in a way. The world's also demanding this. On the other hand, the work is only in the 10. That's the structure. That's our social structure. We are realizing a method that existed 3,000 years ago. If you'll see in the Torah, and you probably know this, these 10s, and it's interesting that the head of the 10 was from within the 10. He was truly from the 10. Only the thing was that there they chose one of attainment. Therefore, he became permanent. He was one of a person with attainment. Everyone understood this, and therefore he actually solved 90% of the problems in the 10. We are going from below upwards. It's something that has yet to have an example of such. Rabash and Rav didn't have 10s. Baal HaSulam didn't have 10. And certainly not like us. where it's men tens, women tens, in different countries, different languages. 800 tens we have, meaning we're starting with something. It's like a research study. It's like Rob himself is saying, I know the principles, but how it will develop, no one knows. We are doing this way for the first time, and without a clear leader, we don't have now. Yes, it's true. There's the head. We are an organizational head of the management. We asked Rav, but what about spirituality? So he says, if you connect, and two things need to happen. Also, we ourselves need to connect in the management. And secondly, we need your trust. Just like you need to give the forces to the head of your 10 in every place. Same way, if you will want and feel that it's worthwhile for 10 to have a head, no matter what the faces that will be there will be. Because we understand, soon these faces will change. Life goes by, it flows. We won't remain in these bodies forever. But if you give us the power, then there will be a head. If you don't, then we won't have a head. It's not like in politics there where you're in the Congress there where you're like with forcefully kind of vote people in this way. But there's nothing we can do. It all depends on people. That's our vision for the time being. Work in the 10, and our role as a management is simply to create the suitable environment for any person who wants to develop, will have no obstacles, and will be able to simply develop within the 10. What later, when we reveal the creator inside the 10, then we'll have another development there, and it's more connection between the 10s. I always said, when will we start the connection between the 10s? And Rav refuses for 5 years already. He says, you must first do the work in the 10. When we conclude the work there, then we'll start building the connection between the 10s. How will it be and in what way? We don't know yet. I just wanted to say a last thing here. I will be happy to see you all. It's maybe still early to say, but me and Avuhy are planning to be in the Congress in October in North America. Even though here we're opening the Terminal of Thoughts and there's crazy construction what's going on here, especially in October, we're opening the new paths there. And we said that it was very important for us. And just the war could stop us. So let's hope that until then, everything will work out. So again, thank you very much, and we will meet you in the lesson. So
Wow.
long.
Thanks so much, gentlemen, and Chaim and Zohar for the translation. And thanks to all of you for joining us this week. With our closing intention, John?
If one does not have any desire and craving for spirituality, if he is among people who have a desire and craving for spirituality, if he likes these people, he too will take their strength to prevail in their desire and aspirations, although by his own quality he does not have these desires and cravings and the power to overcome. But according to the grace and the importance by he ascribes to these people, he received new powers taken from Baal HaSalam. Article number 99. He did not say wicked or righteous. L'chaim, friends, have a great week of connection.
Bye.
In these times so uncertain, what are we thinking of? Is the world going crazy, or is he sending love? Could it be that his message just goes over our heads, leaving us with the feeling of confusion instead? Alone I am blind, together we see, we need one another to truly be free. Alone I am blind, together we see, we need one another to truly be free.
Only through our connection can this world be perceived. Through uniting desires is his message received. In this and turn darkness to light. Alone I am blind, together we see. We need one another, truly be free. Alone I am blind, together we see. We need one another, truly be free. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hi, friends. Thank you very much.
Hi.
Have a nice
Lahaim,
week.
friends. Lahaim.
Lahain, Lahain, Lahain. Thank you.
Lahain.
Have a nice week, friends.